I just pushed the live button.
Nice.
Because we told people we'd be live at 2:00. I'm checking to see if actually it's happened. Well, I checked that.
Check, test, 1, 2.
Yeah, well, I checked that. I'll change you from being an A once again. Because the moment you're still an A. Now, last time, I will admit to multiple technical screw-ups.
Okay.
Multiple technical screw-ups.
Yes, I know.
One of them was that I changed you from being an A on my preview monitor, television concept. I failed to push the button that put you on the air.
Failed miserably.
And now I've done that.
Hey.
Oh, you're back to being kind of yellowish orange.
Well, you know what? How's that?
Oh, much better. And if you're, hey, it appears we're live. Hang on a second. I gotta take a look here and see. But what is hopefully going to happen is all of the sound that I've recorded already is going to kind of get doubled here.
How's that?
There we go. Much better. And if you're, hey, it appears, yeah. So it worked. And there we are. Okay, you got to move over. Or do you want to go back into the sterile?
Just calm down.
Sterile boxes.
How's that?
That's good.
I'm too big.
For your britches.
Too big for my britches.
So we have a house guest.
We have a house guest?
Well, we, not you and I, we here in the studio above the bonus room in the garage, the shadow of Charlotte. Cindy's cousin is here.
Hi, Cindy's cousin.
I mean, she's not here at the moment. She's downstairs. She might stick her head in before she has to leave the house. I invited her to be on the show, and unfortunately, she's here for a specific purpose. We have another relative who is going to be going under some surgery in the near future, and it's her sister, and she's here to help with that. So they have stuff they got to do this afternoon, so she can't hang around, which is too bad because I forced her to watch the Jay and Gary show. And her unsolicited testimonial was, wow, we sound pretty good. She likes our voices. She thinks we're very natural, very calm.
Affable?
I didn't use the word affable, but yeah, I would. Yep. Oh, so I made another zoom change. Your hair is getting like really long. It's down to your belt now.
I'm retired. 40 years ago, man, I worked at this place.
40 years ago.
Morning show.
So, okay, I made another adjustment to the Zoom audio.
Okay.
When I was trying to tell you that you could turn the echo cancellation off, and it didn't show up because I was looking in the wrong place. So,
so it wasn't my fault.
Absolutely wasn't your fault. It was among the many things that I was messing up. Oh, so let's just make sure that I'm not messing up again. Talk a little bit.
Okay. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Talking
a
little bit. Sure.
It's working.
Yeah. And then I can do this. Mess with you.
Yes. Sorry. That doesn't help at all.
Well, you're the one that made me get a mixer.
Right. Can you play some audio now?
Sure. Yeah, I could if I hooked it up.
So you got it. You haven't hooked it up yet.
Well, I don't have anything to play the audio from.
Got a computer. That's what we play audio from these days. As you will see when we get to our breaking story, how to be a disc jockey.
Oh,
later on the show. But first,
jockey thing, I found it rather amusing.
But hang on. I thought I heard door downstairs, but she's not coming up the stairs yet. At least not yet.
We had a mouse today, and the cat actually caught it and had it in her mouth and was playing with it and this and that. And I grabbed a little bucket to grab it and take it outside, but the cat kept running under a table that I couldn't get under because of a shelf on the bottom of it. And then would drop it, and it would run a couple of feet, and then the cat would come out and get it again. And we went back and forth, and then finally the mouse just ran away. So it's down there somewhere. So I set about 6 humane traps down there. So we'll see what happens.
One of the things that Cousin Kathy acknowledged was that we can't stay on topic for more than 30 seconds.
It's ADHD.
Yeah, JDHD.
JDHD.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
It's getting good and back, huh?
Yeah, we're going to have you unfurl it at some point.
I look Bruce Jenner.
Your Zoom audio that I'm showing you here, I have switched it from the live performance audio to original sound for musicians.
Oh.
Clicking on the high fidelity music mode and leaving the echo cancellation turned off.
Okay.
All right. So go to your Zoom settings.
Oh, you want me to do this now?
Well, yes, because I want you to be able to take advantage of these settings so that
Zoom settings.
So that I'm not cutting you out when I talk. We can
audio settings.
Zoom School. This is Zoom
School. Original sound for musicians. Yeah. Echo cancellation off.
Yeah. And then
high fidelity music mode.
Yeah, high fidelity music mode.
Okay.
And then once you got all that set, then once again you need to go to your main Zoom screen, the one that's got you and me on it in the upper left, and turn that function on. Should say original sound for musicians.
It's
off.
on.
Off.
I got it on now.
Okay. Now, why am I echoing? Oh, because you got it. You're feeding me back.
What am I doing? I'm feeding you back.
You're feeding me back.
How am I feeding
your
you
Zoom
back?
audio coming into your mixer is going back out your mixer. And we had the echo cancellation turned on. Going to turn you down a little bit. When you had the echo cancellation turned on, it was canceling that. But now it's not. It's so difficult. Zoom School.
Is that doing it better?
Testing 1 2.
Is that better?
Yeah, I went away. Perfect.
No, I can't hear you now.
Going to have to teach Jay how to use a mixer.
Well, here's the problem.
I do like the sound of my voice coming back.
Yeah, hold on. I got to push.
The audience is.
I can't see them. Okay. From to 9 in. Talk a minute.
Testing 1 2. It went out. It's back. It's back. Testing 1 2. It's gone. It's gone.
I can't hear you if I do this.
Well, you want to. Okay. You want the Zoom return only going to your headphones, your monitor circuit.
Fix this.
This is very technical stuff.
Fix this.
Ordinary people shouldn't be paying attention to this.
Hold on.
I got something else for ordinary people in a minute.
I built a radio station.
Yeah, I know. You seem to have forgotten how it worked. Hold on. Have you ever heard of mix minus?
Okay. Can I hear you?
Testing. Can you hear me now?
I got to change my speaker thing.
Can you hear me now? You don't want any speakers involved in the process.
Too complex.
No speakers involved. Everything headphones. All speakers turned off.
Settings.
Can you hear me now?
Cloud storage.
You can't hear me. You can't hear me. I'm not editing this out either because we're live. I wouldn't have edited it out before because I don't edit.
I'll fix it here.
I'm waiting for somebody to show up in the chat.
Okay. This is how to be a disc jockey.
Nobody's watching us live, I don't think. Do we have anyone? One watching now. That will be me. We probably should have gotten online here about like 30 minutes ago to, the hell is that?
That's not it. I don't know what I'm doing here. Hold on.
been the story of my life. I don't know about you.
Just keep talking. I'll get you.
All right. I have to refer to the script.
It's got something to do with the fact that I got to get you out of the computer and just into I just got to get you into my computer speakers, headphone speakers, and not the mixer. Because bringing you back through the mixer was sending it back.
The mixer should have a monitor circuit.
Why was it doing that?
And the monitor circuit probably has a switch.
That's weird.
The monitor circuit probably has a switch that can feed it to the output or not. And you want it in the or not.
Else. Maybe this will do it. Are you still talking?
Ish. Yeah. Testing 1, 2. 7 podcasts ago.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. You've never gone away. You're fine. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, but now I can hear me again.
Yeah, no. Hold on. Try that.
Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2.
Yeah, but you can hear you now.
No, I'm not. I'm not coming back.
You're not hearing you?
Yeah.
Now?
And are you hearing me?
Sweet. Yeah.
Yay! Success.
I built a whole radio station one time. Can you believe that?
Well, yeah. Did it work the first time you turned it on?
From the ground up. Yeah. It did,
I'm sure it didn't.
Actually.
Okay. Now you turn on a bright light so you could see, and it's a little too bright. No one's ever accused you of being too bright before, right?
Hey, watch it. So, yes, I did. I built it, but the transmitter, I went down to Texas to get a transmitter, and I brought it back, and we hooked it up, and it wouldn't stay at full power on frequency. So
you just changed frequency.
Huh? It was because our antenna was
the
across
lampshade.
the street.
You know, people missed the lampshade last time because I didn't have put it back on your head. This is what they missed last time. Because I didn't have your A switched off.
We had, I'm working on this. Hold on. So we had the antenna was across the street from a state police. Is that better? Headquarters.
It's still there. There you go. Whatever happened there, that's better.
I don't know what happened there. So we were across the street from a state police headquarters, and the signal was bleeding into that. It was ridiculous. And so
you were jamming the police radio.
Yeah, but it had been doing that before. So I had an engineer go over to the state police headquarters, and he found out all their stuff was leaky. So he fixed it. And then a local church said we were jamming their ceremonies, which would be kind of funny with the music we played.
Sound like my ham radio experience.
So we fixed their thing, but the transmitter wouldn't work right and stuff. And so we cheaped out, and I'd gone down to Texas to get this thing, which I got to go to the Texas State Fair, which was fun. And anyway, so I went and bought a new transmitter. So we were supposed to go on the air on Friday, October 6th of 1995. And we had a big party, and we had the old 97s in town for a kickoff concert, and all of the investors and everybody was there.
The old 97s?
Yeah. Oh, God. Don't do this to me again. So anyway, look them up. And so we didn't go on the air that day. So no, not everything worked. The studio worked, the transmitter didn't work. So went to Quincy and bought a brand new transmitter that I put in the back of a U-Haul. Well, they put it in the back of a U-Haul, and I drove it home, and we installed it.
Can I get a takedown here?
Well, I'll call Murray and tell him not to.
Murray, don't take us down. We're playing your video here.
From downtown Dallas to a cabin on the coast.
Yeah.
From the shadow
That's them, right?
to the sun
Yes, it
in
is.
Ohio.
American Prime Time.
From the bottom of the bottle.
We'll find the song Champaign, Illinois. I like that.
Knows where the road goes.
Okay. Well, attempt to.
Pretty much they're
Let's get drunk and get it on. Isn't it? Let's get drunk and screw. I thought that was
their version.
Okay. They cleaned it up.
An announcement about Princess Kate's health is supposed to be going on right now. Well, we're missing it because we're doing this.
Yeah. Do we care?
I don't know.
I have information on being banned in Russia, by the way.
Oh, what happened?
Well, I disputed. Who was it that we played?
I don't remember.
This isn't a video. This is just a map.
Yeah, of Champaign, Illinois. But listen to the things.
All your life you wasted on dreaming about the day. Worker bees kill off their queen and carry all her eggs away.
Are they going to say champagne sometime?
Yeah, well,
Fearing God and painfully employed. No, you will not go to heaven.
there it is.
You'll go to Champaign, Illinois.
So he's equating Champaign, Illinois with not being in heaven. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I got
It
it.
was pretty funny, though.
Okay.
Well, they came several times for us and played. But so the long and short of it, as I say,
Drinking game. Everybody drink, long and short of it.
was that we had them at the Central Tap here the week before we signed on, and not a lot of people knew who the old 97s were. I'd like to say that
Which radio station was this?
WEBX, the web.
Okay, so
And
I'm trying to put things together because I was doing some technical stuff.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
station you
And-
built,
Yeah.
and you tried to get it on the air and couldn't get on the air
We couldn't, so we had our kickoff concert
the first day, and
before
that-
we were even on the air.
That's the
Yeah,
one
a week. Yeah.
that was getting into the policed radios
Yeah,
and the church. It was an
Yeah,
FM
we-
station.
yeah.
FM stations usually don't do that. AM stations do that like crazy.
I mean, it was apparently transmitting on several frequencies, but so anyway, we got the new transmitter, we put it on, and
Where are you?
everything worked, and
Much to your surprise.
yeah, sort of. Well, so it all worked, and we were broadcasting from. We had a. Did you ever see it? Did you ever come see it?
No, I don't think I ever saw that, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah.
we had the coolest.
Which, by the way, I forgot to say, because you just said you were broadcasting. We are live.
we're on the
Live.
air.
We're live. Yay. Whoopee. We're live.
We're live.
No one's
And
watching.
I'm in the,
No one's
and I'm
watching
in the
us
attic
live.
where Hal 9000.
Oh, are we gonna do the intro?
Well, we got to intro the show.
Okay, hang on a second. From the studio in the bonus room above the garage on the north side of Fort Mill, South Carolina, in the shadow of Charlotte, the buckle of the Bible Belt, and the foot of Mount Belzoni. Pointing.
And the attic, in the cul-de-sac, Southwest Champaign, near Interstate 57, near the home of Hal 9000.
The birthplace.
Oh, the birthplace of Hal
Hal
9000. The Netscape Navigator.
Yep.
The transistor.
That means this is. Wait a minute. This is.
Sure.
Ta-da!
I thought something that would start the show off on a cool foot would be.
Oh, you haven't looked at the show notes.
Yeah, I looked at them, and that was cool because I actually found them
Because I got something
in
up.
Google Docs.
I got something up first.
Oh,
The first thing we need to do is, hang on a second. Let me get this set up here. And now, ladies and
Breaking
gentlemen, news for people who don't like news. But since you haven't looked at the show notes, you don't know what your part is.
Oh.
And now here's Jay with the news for people who don't like news.
I have to find the show notes. Google Drive. Is in the Google Drive?
I'll do this again as an introduction. We'll edit this part out.
Jay Gary Notes. Anderson Cooper was listening. Gee, let's see what's in his stories. Daylight savings
Refresh.
time, how to host a
Refresh.
show.
Refresh. Right up at the top. Are you ready?
News for people who don't like the news.
Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, a new feature of the Jay and Gary Show, news for people who don't like news. And now, here with the news for people who don't like news is Jay.
Thank you very much, Gary. Nothing to report, Gary.
There is
Back
no
to you.
news for people who don't like news, and it's just the way they like it. I discovered something.
What?
You remember Rush Limbaugh?
Yeah, I used to work at the same radio station he did, but not at the same time.
And you know what he used to do when he was
Rusty
when he was introducing what he would call breaking news? The little sound effect that he did.
No, I didn't
This will
listen
sound
to
fun.
him much.
You probably wouldn't have had to listen for more than 10 or 15 minutes, and you would have got this. And now breaking news from the EIB network. Duddle-ut, 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 duddle-ut. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. You know where he got that?
No, from you?
No. Although, had I taken that job at WMBD, I could have been Rush Limbaugh instead of him. 'Cause
Yeah, you could
it would have been just a little before he broke out nationally. And, I would have been on little
He broke out like a
5,000 watt
rash.
5,000 watt Peoria station for 2 hours every night, and very quickly people would recognize that I had something special and would go on network. But that didn't happen.
Something
I wanted to ride my motorcycle instead. So he would do
I don't
breaking news on the
want to be
EIB
a talk
network.
show host. I just want to ride my motorcycle.
Yeah, work on that. Workshop that a little bit. He got that
Want to die
from Larry
I just
Lujak.
Oh, he did.
Yep.
Okay.
Old
Well,
Uncle Lair.
Uncle Lair.
Yep.
Lair Lujak.
Anybody of millions of radio listeners across the fruited plain listen to Larry Lujak on WLS in the 70s and 80s.
So
His
I did.
Larry Lujak's jingle sounded very much like this. It was Larry Lujak. Larry Lujak. Super jock.
Yeah.
And
So
I was for some reason YouTube is giving me tons of old radio stuff.
oh,
And they started giving me old Larry Lujak stuff. And sure enough, when he was doing like animal stories or one of the other bits that he did
with little snot-nosed Tommy.
Snot-nosed Tommy,
Tommy Edwards.
and it was he would introduce the breaking news stories by going duddle-ut, 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 and Limbaugh just stole it. One of the things in there somewhere
didn't
was
come up
that
with anything original.
was that Limbaugh listened to Larry Lujak. He was one of the inspirations. That would be when he was down in Cape Girardeau,
Yep.
which a little bit south of St. Louis and easily within the WLS
Oh, yeah.
footprint. Daytime
Oh,
or
yeah.
just nighttime?
Daytime, I believe. I don't know. I never tried to listen to it. I listened to it in Carbondale, so probably.
During the day? Because we need to
Yeah, it came in.
we need to explain to the youngsters in the audience. AM
Skywave.
radio. AM radio. No one listens to AM radio anymore. By the way, Cousin Kathy says she listens to radio.
Good for Cousin Kathy.
Listens to NPR and country music radio. And
Country music is taken over, or is taking over, adult contemporary now. Is the
I think it's going to be the last radio format on NPR and country will be it, and religious on AM. But on
think
FM, NPR and country. NPR will be on one station, and then every other station will be country and religious. Anyway, no news for people who don't like the news. Sorry, nothing. Duddle-ut, duddle-ut, duddle-ut.
da-la.
Where are we?
Does this? Let me see if you hear this.
Only faintly in the
You hear
background.
that?
Only very faintly in the background.
Huh?
No, I do not hear it. I might hear it bleeding through your headphones. He says he built a radio station, but he can't build a little podcast studio.
You hear that?
Yes, through your headphones. It's a long promo.
And then you'd like do stuff and, hey, Jay Pierce here. Cape's #1 music station, KGMO.
That's
Good morning.
That's
Howard
what YouTube
Cosell, speaking of sports, coming up.
Howard and Toast. That's what YouTube is throwing me tons of air checks from radio stations around the country I've never heard of.
I'm going to have to try to figure out how to make that work through here. I see how I can do it. Okay. Well, I haven't played with that enough.
That's what this show is all about. Technical innovation, building the program as we fly, building the plane as we fly it.
We're showing that
Your job is to put on the wheels so we can land at the end of the show.
50 years has not helped me learn much, although I did build a radio station. Did I mention that? So anyway, yeah, Rush was a KGMO. You could hear WLS.
Did they ever call it just Kegmo?
No, just KGMO.
Should have.
And it was either Cape's #1 music station, the Spirit of Cape Girardeau, the Rock of Missouri, something like that. River City Rock and Roll. We had a lot of slogans. I had something really profound. I was going to say Rush Limbaugh. Oh, WEBX. We were talking about the station I built, WEBX, and I took Rush Limbaugh off the air at that radio station so we could play music.
Oh, so that station had existed before. This didn't come on the air as a...
The station
never, ever.
No, it was on the air, sort of, sometimes. The old transmitter would stay on the air for a couple hours and then overheat and go off. And the reason it was this big RCA thing. And the reason it kept going off the air and overheating is because there was a bird's nest in it and it was blocking the ventilation. But it was a bad transmitter anyway. Somebody had taken it from a higher frequency and butchered it down to 93.5. So we had to get rid of that transmitter. And so I sold it to a religious broadcaster in South America. And it ended up in, it might have been Quito, Ecuador. And so anyway, they bought it because, they can't get stuff all the time. And so they got this, and I went to Texas and got the one that didn't work right. So I called the guy in Texas and said, this thing doesn't work, come get it. And so I put it outside with a tarp over it.
Left you with no transmitter.
Well, I went and got one. I went to...
At Radio Shack.
No, I went to Harris, Gates Harris.
They were in Illinois, weren't they?
In Quincy, Illinois. And I went there and I picked one up.
Just up the river
right
from where you were in Rock Island.
Well, about 90 miles. Yeah. So I went and I got...
brand new?
Got that transmitter and brought it back, and we took the front off the garden shed that it was going to be in and put it in there. And, so we put it in, and then it worked. Yeah, I mean, it worked first time. Fired it up, worked. And the only thing that ever happened to it in the couple of years that I was in charge of it, before I was let go, a transistor went out. But this was a cool transmitter because it had 4 drawers in it, 25% power in each drawer, and you could pull one out while it was live and fix something, solder a new transistor, and then put it back in, and there it went. So it was cool. So yes, I did stuff. So anyway, I took Rush Limbaugh off that station.
So they were a talk station?
We put music on. Yes, it was a talk station called WKTW as the call letters. It was K-Talk.
That's unusual for that era on FM.
Yeah, they were ahead of the curve. The AM station that became the conservative talk station was all local talk shows at the time. And so they were running Rush Limbaugh, Tom Likas, I don't know, G. Gordon Liddy was on by then, but it was the usual cast of characters. And so I'm tasting the fish I had for lunch. No, I made some tilapia for lunch, which isn't really tilapia. It's something else, but they gave it the name tilapia because whatever it is sounded gross and nobody would buy it. I'll look it up. So anyway, we took Rush Limbaugh off, and his distributor tried to make us run all the commercials for the next however long the contract was for. I said, we didn't buy the contract. We didn't buy the company that owned the station. We just bought the physical assets of the station and the right to apply to have the license transferred to us, which is through the FCC. You don't actually buy the license. But so anyway, we got it. And
yes, because the license should not be for sale.
Right. And so
you buy the owner's agreement to relinquish it.
Something like that.
Technically,
yeah.
I think is not legal either, but that's the way things work.
That's the way it works. So anyway, so we did that. And
you want to know the truth about tilapia?
Yeah.
Hang on.
It's like called turd fish or something.
The truth about tilapia revealed.
Here at Papa
Yeah.
John's, we know our stuff.
Why am I getting an ad?
You're getting an ad for Papa John's pizza. That's not tilapia. Fish pizza.
Not all fish are created equal, and one of the types you've probably heard a lot about is tilapia. It's definitely not one of the highly sought-after types of fish, and you've probably heard that it's bad for you for various reasons. But how much of it is true?
Tastes
Today,
good.
tilapia is fished, farmed, and raised all over the world. But according to Berkeley Wellness, the fish originated in the Middle East and Africa and was once known for being a food fit for a pharaoh. According to the Southern Regional
See?
Aquaculture Center, depictions of tilapia have been found on the walls of ancient Egyptian tombs, suggesting they weren't just an important part of diets around 3,000 years ago, but they were important enough to be immortalized. And if you're
Right.
familiar with the biblical story about Jesus making just a few loaves of bread and a few fish into a meal for
It was
5,000
tilapia?
people, the New York Times says scholars believe those fish were most likely tilapia.
Well,
Nice.
there we go.
But it was called something else, or maybe it was orange roughy that was called something. One of them was called something else. The big one now is this, the Asian carp that's clogging up the Illinois River.
Rivers, yeah.
And they're calling it something else now.
It jumps out of the water and knocks fishermen out of their boats.
Yeah, so what they do, we watched them. We were sitting on the banks in Peoria, as a matter of fact, where you could have been on the air and been the next Rush Limbaugh at WMBD, but you weren't.
But I wasn't.
You wanted to ride your motorcycle instead, and they didn't hire me. So anyway, but they
Screwed up all over the place.
They did call later and want to know if I wanted to go to work there. And anyway,
you
but
didn't?
that was years later. No, I didn't, because they offered me something. Probably, I think, a third of what I was making at the time where I was. And I was like, that's a really nice offer, but no.
Yeah, they were going to offer me $18,000 a year for that.
I think that's what they were going to offer me in 2010. I don't know. No, it wasn't 2010. It was before that, but it wasn't a lot of money. And so anyway, I couldn't have worked at the station. I think the station's really good. They execute very well. But
did they want you on AM? They got an FM, but it wasn't WMBD FM. It was something else.
Yeah, a friend of mine, their FM is the #1 station in the market, and a friend of mine does the morning show. And we have a rivalry whenever I'm filling in on the public radio station in Peoria. Because we used to have the same rivalry down in Carbondale when I was on the public station. He was on the commercial station. So I didn't say it.
The long and the short of it. It is not a drinking game if I say it, only if Jay says it.
They're pretty far to the right. I'll just leave it at that.
As a talk show, talk station.
As a station,
yeah. Well, is there anything else? I mean, Air America went off the air years ago.
Yeah, but WCPT in Chicago is still on. They're really good.
A liberal talk station.
Yep.
And we actually have one. They had one in Chapel Hill, or what as people often refer to it, the People's Republic of Chapel Hill.
Dave Chappelle Hill.
Near Raleigh, Durham, was liberal. And their radio station ran Air America when Air America was around.
Yeah.
And now I think they're mostly local, because I don't think there are any network left-leaning stations or left-leaning programs networked, are there, for radio, for broadcast?
Yeah, there are a couple of folks still around that are syndicating themselves. And I'd tell you who they are, but I can't.
Yep.
I can't remember.
Still, I'm
Tom. There's a Tom in the name.
Still, I'm the only one watching our live stream.
Yeah.
Only one.
Well, I'd turn it on.
People are at work, Friday afternoon. They can't be watching YouTube.
So let me finish my Peoria story really quick, and then I'm going to read this from a friend.
Be the first story we've finished ever on the show.
Just said about work. We were sitting on the banks of the river and watching people get the Asian carp, and the way they were doing it was they had a boom box that they would play loud music on, and point it in the bottom of the boat. They would have it in the bottom of the boat so that there would be the sound waves going down in the water, and that would attract the carp and rile them up, and they would jump, and then they were shooting them with a crossbow. It was fun.
It would sound like this, right?
To watch. Yeah. Yeah.
That would rile the carp up. That
would rile the carp.
They would fly up out of the water and they would shoot them
with a crossbow. Just give the fish a sporting chance. But
that's up in the air, not down in the water.
Right.
Yeah, because
these things shoot them
these things fly for like feet.
Oh yeah, and they come up in your boat. Yeah. So they have a name because they are really good. It's a good food fish, and
this carp is.
Yeah, it really is, and so they what do they call it now? So it's good to eat. They gave it another name so people wouldn't think of it as carp. And I'm looking it up here. So
let's see who can look things up faster. Another name.
Oh, Copi. They're calling it Copi, C-O-P-I.
There are 24 synonyms and antonyms for carp.
Well, but they began calling
because carp is also
Copi.
a verb, as in nag.
Yeah. So Copi is what they were calling it, and
that sounds better.
And I should have known that because I had a friend, Irv Copi. So stop glamorizing the grind and start glamorizing getting 7+ hours of sleep at night, having healthy relationships, feeling safe at work, taking sick days, being paid a living wage, working hard when you're at work, boundaries, and self-caring your way to success.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about work and the grind of work. And I was
looking up names for carp. When did we get to this?
Well, I told you we were going to do this when I finished the story, and I was talking about radio, and we were talking about how to be a disc jockey, and being a disc jockey can be a grind. And I did
play records all afternoon.
Well, now it's easier than it was, but you do other stuff. And so what you're trying to do is you're always trying to move up to the next
station. Yeah.
The next station.
Which in theory, getting fired is a job, is a good tactic, but I got fired and it didn't work for me.
No, and you don't really want that on your resume, do you?
Yeah, most of the big time successful disc jockeys got fired from multiple radio stations.
That's right, and they only last a couple of years.
One of the things I learned from good old Uncle Lair.
But some are around a long time, and so anyway, I guess my point being this: I spent almost 50 years working my way up in the business and always working extra hard so that I could get that next better position. And I think that I'm happy to be retired now. It was a grind. And I wish Rachel, who put this up, Rachel Rock, I wish I'd known this, but we didn't get a rule book when we were kids. We didn't get that rule book. So we had to make it up as we went along or copy someone else. Speaking of our personal lives, at least my personal life. So I always worked harder than I think in retrospect I really had to. But,
I worked hard. But I mean, as a disc jockey, what the anxiety that I had as a disc jockey was back timing, because the last station that I worked at, the one that we played the demo from, well, we played demo from a couple, the one where I was good, sort of, and in Lake Havasu City.
That was a pretty relaxed show.
Yeah. We had network news on the hour, a business report on the quarter hour, and some other thing on the 3/4 hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I always had to time the music and the commercials and whatever patter I was going to do so that things would work out, so that things ended at the beginning of that network feed 3 times an hour. 3 times an hour.
Time.
Yeah.
You got to hit the join.
So I had, is that what they call it in the biz? I'd never learned the biz lingo very much.
Or the rejoin, whichever. I mean, in public radio, you're in and out of the network segments on morning edition, or All Things Considered or whatever. So it's a rejoin. You got to hit the rejoin. Don't step on the rejoin.
Yep.
It's not professional.
Yep, exactly. So as I was, you come out of whatever, you're playing a couple songs, and now you're looking toward that clock. It's about 10 minutes away, and you say, okay, I got a record that is 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and that leaves me 5 minutes and 9, and there's no song that long. So now I got to get 2 songs that are short enough. The record,
the Edmund Fitzgerald, was that long.
There were a few. One time I tried to slip in an instrumental. They're pretty rare in rock and roll, but there's a few. And so I could fade it out without fading out people singing. And the boss sent me a memo and said, don't do that. You know how to back time. Just do your back timing.
So that's, and it's not.
But wait a minute. That brings me to my broadcasting dream.
Yeah. You're able to back time?
I had a recurring broadcasting dream. Whenever I was coming into a tense situation, and again, my job was not radio for the most part. It was video editing. And most of the time I didn't know very much about whatever I was going to work on when I went into work for the day. Clients would show up. They would pull out whatever they had to work on, their materials. I would load them up. I would start editing. But sometimes things were going to be, as Colbert says, just sometimes, things were going to be a little more difficult. Things would have been pre-planned. And now I didn't know whether things were going to work or not, but I knew that what I had to do. And the night before that, I would have my recurring dream always come up. I'd be back at WDOR, the first radio station in Sturgeon Bay, and a record would end early.
And you'd have nothing.
The record would end, a minute before the news. I back-timed it wrong, and nothing on the other turntable, no commercials, nothing in the cart machines, nothing to do, and I had nothing to say. And I would wake up in a bit of a sweat.
Mine was always,
wait,
I couldn't queue up records fast enough.
I'm not done yet.
There's more. Okay.
But wait, there's more.
But wait.
So, and what we have to do is just keep talking so fast the other person can't interrupt. So at KFWJ, one day I screwed up the back timing, and record ended, and it was a minute before the newscast was going to start, and I had nothing prepared. And what I realized was I had the verbal ability to babble for a minute without any difficulty whatsoever. I had learned that technique by that time. I have never had that dream again.
Wow.
That canceled the dream.
That solved the dream.
Now, what were we talking about?
Well, I always have the dream, and it's a common disc jockey dream, and I have the news person's dream too, where you can't get records queued up fast enough. Every time you start a record, it starts ending right away, and you don't have another one ready.
4-second record.
So, yeah, exactly. And then the news dream is that
When that happens, all you do is you hit this. All you do is you hit. Oh, wait a minute.
You hit this.
You hit this. And that gives you 7 seconds to queue up the next record.
Nice. Well, there was a radio station I worked at where you had to be able to do that during a 7-second jingle because we only had
one turntable.
One working turn. They were two, but only one of them worked. And so the other one was the news dream, where you're a news anchor and you don't have any copy to read. For some reason, there's no news copy, which actually I think I described that in an earlier episode of this. That actually happened to me one time in real life, where I took the laptop computer from the newsroom that
I remember the story.
Script on it. I brought it in and it was gone. But that's another one of the ones that you have, the dreams that you have. That
Yep.
And
so I think your point here is that radio broadcasting is anxiety laden.
It is.
Everybody thinks it's glamorous. Everybody thinks that they're going to be the hit in town, that it's going to be easy, laid back, just playing records, playing the hits, having a good time.
So the way my career evolved was I wanted to be a disc jockey. That's what I wanted to be. And so I went to do that.
That's what I wanted to be too, I thought.
But it was easier to get an on-air position being a newscaster or sportscaster.
Why would that be?
I don't know. So I did those. And then I got to be a disc jockey, and I found out I wasn't really good at it, but I was a disc jockey for a long time. But I also did news, and I did sports. And I did some weather on TV. I was terrible at that too. But in the end, I was always in management, even when I was pretty brand new in college. I became the student continuity director for the student station after my first semester there. And then I became the student station manager. And then at the commercial radio station I was working at, I became the assistant program director. And then I became an operations director at a station. I kept getting kicked up the ladder because people thought I knew what I was doing. And
the Peter principle.
Then I became an assistant news director at a bigger station. And then I became an assistant news director at another station, and then news director. And then I became news and program director at the network.
Lot of people.
I know. And then program director at the University of Illinois station, and along the way I've taught news reporting, although I've never had a class in news reporting. And then I became the station manager, and all of this basically, and then I became a general manager, and then retired.
CEO. They gave you the CEO title because what they couldn't pay you anymore.
Oh no, they paid me well.
Okay.
I got paid very well. Okay. But I asked for the CEO title and got it because general manager to me sounds like a working title and like an operational title, and CEOs of companies.
But you were doing that.
Yeah, but for the purposes of going out in public and meeting
fundraising.
Yeah, fundraising and friend raising, meeting other CEOs. The title CEO was necessary, I believe, to be on the same level. So
okay, so
I got the title CEO.
A business strategy thing, not an ego thing.
It was, yeah, it was, and it wasn't an ego thing. Or
at least that's your story.
Yeah, that's my story. But the way I got into management, the way I got into program director, the way I got in, when all I really wanted to be was a disc jockey, but I really wasn't that good at it. I was a vice president one time. Yeah, so this whole thing was because that's how you made more money. You move up the ladder, whether you know what you're doing or not, and then you figure it out, hopefully. Or you fool people long enough.
Did
and
anything
so you got to raise
badly
each time.
screw up because you didn't know what you were doing?
I knew what I was doing.
Ish.
No, nothing ever really screwed up.
Okay. So
How do you screw it up? It's not rocket science. It's a radio station. You're not running a nuclear
it's
plant.
rock and roll.
You're not going to kill people if you do something wrong.
Well, there is death involved. It's called dead air.
Well, yeah, you can have dead air. But you know what? And that's where some of the stress comes from, is that the consultants and folks make you believe in, well, let's go into the how to be a disc jockey thing, and you'll see some of this play out. It's, geez, a lot goes into, a lot of stuff that you're told just doesn't really matter.
So this is something
Get
else.
done with it.
This is something
Because
else that
listeners aren't as picky as we are.
this is something else YouTube sent me because I'm apparently fascinated by the world of radio. This is actually 10 years old. So it's, this is how to be a disc jockey. 12 years old. This is how to be a disc jockey 12 years ago in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So watch and learn.
Hi, I'm Jackie Green, a radio host on 97.9 WGRD. And today I'm going to show you what goes into putting together a good radio show.
Oh, by the way, stand by, Jackie.
WGRD, the GERD.
Got a little reflux going there. WGRD, the GERD.
Or the gizzard.
Yeah. GERD, I think. Yeah.
GERD.
It's your reflux station, WGRD. I was going to say,
Gird your loins with WGRD.
Be sure to make commentary as this goes along.
Okay.
I don't know if on YouTube they're going to complain about us, but at some point we may need to claim fair use. And
I think it is. We're reporting on this.
Yeah, that's particularly important during a live show. Well, actually, it doesn't work during a live show. I've done this before. I was doing a live show. Most of my shows are live. Doing a live show, playing a lot of video from a Netflix program. It was it was about a French town. It was radio. It was a clandestine shortwave broadcast station in a coastal French town during World War II. And a woman was broadcasting coordinates, embedding coordinates for bombing, for Allied bombing. So she's transmitting from this town, small town, and being picked up in England, getting the coordinates for directing the bombers. And there's a German radio genius guy, young genius guy, who is trying to track down the station. And of course, he ends up falling in love with her because it's a young guy and a young girl. So you're breathing really hard into your mic there.
Come back.
Not hearing that? Love your story.
That's my rhythmic diaphragmatic breathing.
Telling a fascinating story here. So anyway,
it calms you, lowers your blood pressure.
I'm trying to remember the name of this Netflix show. Anyway, because it's radio oriented, I'm on my ham radio show, which is called Ham Radio Now on a YouTube near you, just down the dial from the Jay and Gary Show. I am live and I'm playing clips from this that I've pulled out of it. And what I'm not realizing is that YouTube is alternately cutting me to black during the live feed and during the stuff that I was broadcasting, that I was playing. And then I would come on and it would cut back to me. But their AI robot that was figuring this out was like 20 seconds late or more. because I would start playing a clip and then like 20 seconds later it would cut to black and I would come back on and I'd have been talking for a while and 20 seconds later it comes. And so one of my friends who was watching the show live, we mentioned we're live.
Live.
Yeah.
We're live.
Oh, I forgot. I've got, wait a minute. There we go. I've got a bug. I got a bug right down there in the corner.
Oh, Jane Gary.
I forgot to turn it on.
Nice.
A little bug, and it says live right on
Nice
it. And I couldn't
live.
say that if we weren't live.
Jane Gary live.
If you're watching this on a playback, it's still going to say live. But
Well, that's fine.
yeah, I got a bug.
So
So they were cutting to black. I come back on. They cut back to me, but late. And then after about 50 minutes, and the show was a typical 2-hour show. After about 50 minutes, they just boom, dropped the thing. That this guy's not learning his lesson. Turns out they were sending me email saying, "Dude, are you paying attention to what's on your air? You're playing copyrighted material." And I'm not reading my email. I'm doing my show. You're supposed to be aware of what's on your show. I'm aware of what's on my show. I'm so aware of what's on my show. I'm the guy that's on it. So I'm not reading your freaking email. So after this is all over, a friend of mine calls up who's watching and says, they're doing something weird to you. So I turn on my monitor and see that it's coming and going. And that's all very weird. So, of course, I fight it, as I always do, because I'm thinking this is pretty much easily fair use. And Netflix relatively quickly, it took about a week, but they eventually capitulated and said, "Yep, fair use. You have every right to be broadcasting the material that you did. And oh, by the way, we had no right to take you down."
Wow.
But we did.
But we did.
But we did anyway.
Sorry after the fact.
Exactly. And that's how it works with YouTube. Now, something you got to realize about YouTube is YouTube has no obligation to put our ugly mugs and voices on their streaming service. They're not required to. They're doing us a favor.
Excuse me.
And so if we toe the line and obey their rules, we can stay broadcasting, as it were, on YouTube. And one of the rules is that if you put something on your show, you have to have that's not just you doing your original material. You have to have authorization to be able to do it, either the license or the permission from the owner of the material, or fair use. But they don't figure fair use on the fly. You got to argue your fair use, and if they've taken you down or demonetized or with some of the various things that they can do, you argue afterwards and then get either restored or monetization restored or whatever. But it doesn't happen on the fly. So YouTube was telling me and YouTube doesn't. I had not seen YouTube get in the middle like this because I'd never had this done to me live before. It was YouTube's idea to cut the black and cut it back on, as their content ID system is recognizing material that Netflix has said, if you see anybody play this stuff, cut them off.
Get Pierce off.
Cut them off.
Cut
Get
them
them
off
off.
the air. Get them off.
Yep. So that's what YouTube was doing. And so I responded to YouTube and said, fair use, dudes. And boom, they restored me. They put it right back on. Not live anymore, but because they had taken the show out, they put it back on. And then it came back down because Netflix got in the deal and said, "Oh, no, hey, dude, that's our material." And so I go through their hoops, YouTube's hoops, and say fair use, fair use, fair use. And it took about a week, and Netflix said, "Okay, yeah, yep, we had no authorization or no right to take you down. We should have left you up. Nobody was watching you. Nobody was checking to see if it was really commentary the way you were doing it. We just recognized the material. It was all automated. It was robots. Recognized the material, took you down. Probably robots still recognizing keywords in my rebuttal or my dispute and putting it back up. There may never have been a human involved in it except for me. I don't know.
Wow.
Hard to tell.
Well, that's where we're headed.
They might have.
That's where we're headed.
Anyway, so as we play this material here from the GERD, from the reflux,
The GERD.
from the heartburn station, WGRD, all GERD all the time. We play
girdle.
We play heartburn. Anyway, as they tell us how
Give
to be
you
disc jockeys,
heartburn.
we have to
Okay. Yeah, we'll
commentary
comment
on
on
it
it so we
to
can
make
do
it
fair
really
use.
fair use. But if we get taken down in the middle, then sometime later on, we complain and say it's us.
You complain.
Yeah.
You're good at this.
Yeah, I've done it many times.
Yeah.
I don't know about this
How to.
music though. Yeah, for the audio audience, how to. I don't know if we have authorization to play this music.
No.
I don't know what this music
Common
is.
misconception about radio is that we're sitting here pushing buttons and playing CDs. But now,
Yeah, you
with the
are.
digital day and age, everything's done like through the computer. So
Yeah.
our boss, who's known as the program
Yeah, playing CDs. I never played CDs. I always played
yeah.
45 RPM records and a few
Oh, I
33.
played CDs a lot.
Okay, yeah, you're in the CD era.
Yeah.
Yeah, my radio operation was in 1987. No, yeah, 1986, 1987. CDs existed. We didn't have a CD player in the radio station, and I had rarely seen a CD. One of our office people had a CD player, and she would sit there listening to CDs, and I'm going, "Why aren't we playing these on the air?" Well, because we don't have a CD player.
I gotta grab something.
CDs have come and gone, by the way.
CDs have come and gone, but I still got some.
Yeah. But what she is saying is that
Check
people
this
think that you're playing CDs because this was 12 years ago, but
Check
they
this
weren't.
out.
They were playing things out of the computer. What are we looking at? Is it an ancient CD player?
It's an 8-track player.
Oh, whoa! Whoa! Jay's
Even
got the
before
technology.
CDs. We had 8 tracks. Oh, fades out in the middle. Houses of the Holy is an album by Led Zeppelin. Bought it on 8-track, not on a CD. Fades out in the middle, like an album's supposed to. Like an album's supposed to.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
The electric Kool-Aid acid test was, well, you can look it up.
director goes through and puts in all of our music spots, commercial spots, talking spots.
No,
and
let me back
anything
that up a
else
little bit.
Everything's
Talking
done like through the
spots.
computer. So our boss, who's known as the program director,
That would be
goes
you.
through and puts in all of our music spots, commercial spots, talking spots, and anything
did
else that
that.
goes across
The
the
traffic
radio on a
director
clock.
did that.
Yeah.
The commercial spots, talking spots.
Stop!
and
I'm
anything
pushing the
else that goes
stop
across.
button and it's not stopping. So, what she's
The
saying
traffic
is
director
that
did that, not the program director.
If you were thinking 12 years ago that you might enjoy being a on-air personality at a radio station because you get to
Pick your own music.
play the music while and say what you want when you want, things like that. No. Those days, even 12 years ago, those days were long gone.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, back to how to not want to be a disc jockey.
Across the radio on a clock, which is a 24-hour timeline that plays everything you hear every day. An important aspect of a radio host is show prep. You have to prep what you're going to say on the radio before.
Jay?
Like us. Yeah. We do that.
Yeah. Well, we started because I made this Google Doc
I know.
that you
but
didn't look at. when
I
we
know.
started the
Well,
show.
that's part of the problem.
Because when I tossed to you for the
I looked
news,
at it yesterday.
the news. Wait a minute, what is this? And now, news for people who don't like to consume the news. Here's Jay
So-
with the news.
What I'm going to say is this. I wound up my career well into the 6 figures, right? And I never did show prep. I mean, I wrote the news ahead of time and stuff like that, so the news was all put together. But as far as the breaks, the minute and a half where I got to talk, that was all off the top of my head. And you can tell it took a lot off the top of my head, too. I used it all up, and so I had to retire because I had nothing left up here to do. So,
Pulled out your last hair.
but no, there was no, I didn't write down. And so she'll talk about that.
My show prep? Want to know about my show prep?
Yes, I would like to know about your show prep.
I would cut little articles out
Mister, I got fired twice.
I cut articles out of magazines, Newsweek. I didn't get time. I had Newsweek, and I'd physically cut articles out of them, out of the local paper, out of the Arizona Republic. So those are my 3 news sources, and occasionally pull something off the wire. We had a AP wire at the station.
So you got news of the weird,
Yeah.
or
And so
whatever.
I've got this stack of things in front of me, and as a record is ending, maybe 10 seconds before a record is ending, I'd pull something out of it and say, okay, I'll do this. I would literally open the mic with no idea what it was I was going to talk about, and yet babble came voluminously pouring out of my mouth. And yes, I got fired.
Voluminously, yes.
I got fired for talking too much. And now back to how to be a disc jockey, because it's going to be so pointless you won't want
On a
it.
clock, which is a 24-hour timeline that plays everything you hear every day. An important aspect of a radio host is show prep. You have to prep what you're going to say on the radio before you do it. Otherwise, you don't exactly know what's going to come out of your mouth. When I'm prepping for my show, I put together a clock, just like on the radio.
Yeah,
So I
this
look
sounds
up
like
what times I have on.
so much
Today,
fun.
I'm talking at 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:15, 8:30, and so on.
And what are you doing,
So
like,
what I
in
do is
between
I put
that
together this
stuff?
clock in a Word document.
Nothing.
Once it's
Taking
in the
a
Word
nap,
document,
setting
I
an
put
alarm?
notes next to each time that I'm talking.
You know, I don't
what I'll
know
be
if she's
talking about.
even talking
Our
live.
website, WGRD.com.
Or voice
we have all
tracking.
kinds of different links here, like listen live if you want to listen on the internet, advertisements. We have different ticket giveaways, how you can win tickets to shows and concerts in Grand Rapids, and more. Our company, Town Square Media, is all about the internet. So we own a series of websites. We find it important to blog and talk to our listeners.
WEBX.
So what we do is every day we're required a minimum of 2 blogs per
Town Square's a
personality.
good company.
So every day I put together 2
So you know
news
them.
stories or personal stories for the website.
So it's not just
for
a
our
local?
listeners to read and interact with us.
No,
and
they're
comment
all
on.
over.
So every day I put a blog post about the Rocky Mountains. This way, if you're not
They
listening
bought a
to
lot
the
of
radio
Cumulus
necessarily, if you're not in
stations.
your car or you don't have it playing, you can be part of what's going on just on the internet. Hi, welcome to our on-air studio. This is where we do our on-air live shows. So when I come in, I normally have all my show prep done. I've done everything else I need to do for the day. So I'm here in the studio. This is what a board looks like. On the board, you have
Pay
everything
attention,
from your mic
Jay.
1, your mic 2, your mic 3, to your logs, which would be your different songs that are playing, to your button bars. Button bars are sound effects.
Button box.
Maybe sometimes on the radio you'll hear a host make a joke and play a fart noise or play a lapping noise. That comes off the button bars.
A fart noise.
So the button
Just do
bars.
the fart noise yourself.
Here-
yeah,
here comes
yeah,
the
you
button-
got
here
that.
comes the
Here's the
button
button
bar.
box. I knew it was coming.
Video podcast audio either way. Here's the way to go to the Jay and Gary Show.
Came to you from the button bar. Is the button bar where you go to get your stag after the shift?
Yeah, that was it.
Play the button bar by clicking it. Or if you want to have it play after a song or after a commercial, you can click and drag it into a spot here in the logs.
Nights with Jackie.
You are twisted, lady. You hear me? You are screwed up in the head.
Only on 97.9.
Oh, she does
So
a
right
show.
now I'm playing a Kid Rock song. After Kid Rock, I'll want to talk. So what happens is this. I got about 2 seconds. I turn on the mic.
She's got about 2 seconds of time to talk.
97.9 GRD, Grand Rapids Rock Alternative, home to the Free Beer and Hot Wings Morning Show. Welcome. On the way, we've got another extra long GRD Music Blitz for you. Bringing in some Godsmack, got some Hollywood Undead, Guns N' Roses, and Mad Season. So stick with me next on 97.9 GRD.
Now that sounds, that may sound like something cool to do until you've done it every day.
Oh, no.
5-10 times an hour for 4 hours.
So, you know what the
Every
coolest...
day. 5 days a
What?
week, and then for 4 hours on Saturday.
But I got to tell you one thing. The thrill, the endorphin release that you got when you would play a song like Sir Duke by Stevie Wonder with a cold end, and you would backtime it perfectly. And you, yeah, but so it had that cold end that you just did, but it's kind of at the end.
The end is actually goes da-dum-dum, ba-da. That's the end, right?
Okay.
Ba-da.
So that's the end. Da-da. And then you hit the 7-second station ID jingle. And then you hit the network news. That's back time.
Ba-da.
From ABC News, I'm Jay Pierce.
Now, do you let me take you back a couple of shows ago to those thrilling days of yesteryear when I played my demo at the very beginning of my demo.
Mm-hmm.
It was Sinatra, Start Spreading the News.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ba, da, 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 da. And as that's playing and we're coming up to the vocal, I hit the KFWJ, boom, KBBC, Lake Havasu City, the London Bridge home for rock and roll or something like that.
London Bridge is falling down.
Now, and as they say, as that finishes, it was start spreading the news. Bum, ba-dum, ba, ba, ba. AP Network News. I mean,
you're so clever.
Just like that. Just like that.
You're so clever.
That was good.
Do you know that
We're not done. We're not quite done learning how to do this yet. So, hang on. There's a little more.
Oh,
Turn off
there
the
she
mic,
is. Working.
Pot it back down.
Turn off the mic.
And that's
pot
about it.
down.
Then you wait till your next empty voice track pops up.
For a
That's a day
half
in the life
hour.
for me. Come
You
into the
set an
studio
alarm
and
clock.
get some blogs done for WGRD.com. I do my show prep, which includes finding stories, getting breaking news, music news, and more. Then I go on air and I tell my stories to an audience. Make sure you listen up to 97.9 WGRD. Thank you.
I wonder where she is today.
The GERD. I don't know, but she's pretty good. I like her voice.
Your station for the reflux,
Probably a
WGRD.
good station. Town Square is a good company.
Brought to you
They have
by
a station,
Omeprazole.
the station in the Quad Cities that they had was perennially the number 2 station to the country station, and it was 97X. And they had Dwyer and Michaels in the morning, which was a syndicated show for a while.
Michael's in the morning.
But anyway, the best morning show, and they were just awesome. And I loved it whenever I was not having to do morning edition breaks on my station that I ran, so I could listen to Dwyer and Michaels. And they were really good. I miss listening. I guess I could listen online. Dwyer and Michaels in the morning, classic rock all day, 97X.
You used to have that voice. You used to be able to do that. You're getting old. Your voice is getting old.
Yeah, it is. It's getting old. But,
Yeah, mine too.
know,
Today it's not too bad, but often it's pretty hoarse. You know who used to have a awesome voice, and it's really sad that it's going, is Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
Who's that?
Captain, not Captain Kirk, Captain Stubing, not Captain Stubing. Star Trek Next Generation.
Fantastic. Oh, I couldn't tell you.
You're not a Star Trek fan,
No.
and
Nor Star Wars.
and this is one of those interesting quirks of my brain is that I know his captain name, and I can't pull it out. The vocabulary had disappeared from my brain.
Wow. Well, look it up. Google it.
Anyway, he deep stentorian Shakespearean tones, and then he did Picard, Captain Picard. Then they've done the new series on Paramount Plus, bringing back some of the Star Trek stuff. And his voice is gone. It's shot because he's in his late 80s. So,
Well, you're getting there.
getting close.
So what? I mean, Shatner's still around. Why'd they need all these other people?
Because Shatner was a jerk.
I like him.
He's
It's like 115.
I believe he's not happy that he has not been involved in any of the reprise stuff.
Yeah,
But if you're
well,
not a Trekkie, I could talk about it all day, and you'll have no idea what I'm talking about.
he was the original, right?
Yeah, Shatner, Captain Kirk.
So, and now he's trying to sell me Medicare.
Reverse mortgages or Medicare
yeah.
Advantage.
Advantage Insurance.
Yeah.
You get free rides. You get lunch.
You can get a ride on that space penis.
Whatever. Well, that
You know what
that
I'm talking
was,
about, right?
No, I have no idea. What
It was the Bezos rocket to not quite space.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I know what you're
It looked
talking
like a giant penis.
Didn't Shatner go on that?
Yes.
Yeah, he
It
did.
was a
He's like so
spiritual
100-year-old man
experience.
can do it. How old is he? I gotta look it up. Were you gonna look up that? Oh no, you found it. You figured it out. Because
Yeah, I'll let you look it up.
Shatner. I like Shatner. That show he did, I like that. He's 93.
20 years older than me still. 19 years older than me.
Gives you hope. God, he's been married like 4 times. Wow. Well, I can't talk.
You're only 3, right?
3.
Yeah.
You're only 2.
I'm 2.
Shatner. What was that other show he did?
Boston Legal. He was good on Boston Legal.
Yeah, Boston Legal. So did you ever listen to his version of Rocket Man?
I probably have, but hang on.
Or Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be horrible.
It's not horrible. It's great. It's a great interpretation. It's a very, very good interpretive reading. Recitation.
Shatner Rocket Man. Dialing it up.
This
Audio restored. Interesting. Yeah, those will get us taken down for sure. So remember, we have to be commentators. We have to do commentary. I don't know what this is going to be.
It's Shatner smoking and doing Rocket Man. Covers of popular songs. Enjoy.
I don't know what we're getting here. We'll see.
Packed my bags. Last night, pre-flight.
Okay, so this is Shatner,
So
the
this
Rocket
is
Man.
Shatner doing Rocket Man.
Smoking,
9
for the audio audience, smoking, wearing a tux with a big bow tie.
High as a kite by then.
Is he doing this?
See, it's the interpretation that's... It's on an
Is he
album.
doing this ironically or?
No, it's on an album he released. And he is...
I think it's got to be ironically.
No.
Or was this pre-irony? 1978.
Pre-irony.
There was no irony in 1978.
No, there wasn't. So, no, this is him doing interpretive performances of popular songs. And he's kind of got the Sinatra thing going. You know?
Okay. First of all, I need to go see
Oh,
if we're
man,
still
I'm just
if we're still on
fanboy.
the air. Are we?
I'm a fanboy.
Are we still on the air? Let's see.
I don't know if we're on the air.
Push the button up to live and listen for a second. Oh yeah, they haven't pulled us down for that. Okay, so good.
Didn't pull us down for that?
Not yet.
Jay and Gary. Jay and Gary. Jay and Gary.
Are you saying you want this?
YouTube video,
Nice.
podcast, audio, either way is the way to go to the Jay and Gary Show.
YouTube video, podcast audio. Take your pick. We're right here.
Is anybody watching?
There's 2 people watching right now.
2.
Yep. Oh, it's DP.
TJ Hooker. TJ Hooker.
Yeah.
Captain Picard,
Okay, you're
TJ
looking at the chat now. Yeah, we got a viewer.
I know who it is.
Oh yeah, TJ Hooker was another show that Shatner did. I never watched that, but Boston Legal was great. It also had Odo from Deep Space Nine.
So, you can't tell who's watching the thing if you click on the thing. Doesn't tell you. There's 3 watchers. That's the show that Shatner was in.
Now there's 3. Someone who you just started watching, so you brought it up.
How do you
I'm
know?
one.
How do you know?
Right here on the YouTube screen. down just below the title.
Yeah.
2 watching. Okay, so somebody disappeared.
DP.
It could be DP because I'm still watching and you're still watching.
You know who DP is?
I don't.
Think
Oh,
about
Dale. Hi, Dale.
niece, or your niece, your nephew.
Is there a transition here that I should be aware of?
No, there isn't. It's afternoon, and we've been babysitting a 3-year-old all day who's finally taken a nap.
And by we, you mean Melissa, because you're not. You're doing a podcast.
Well, I'm doing a podcast now, but they're probably both asleep now because they deserve it. But baby Margot, is a very active 3-year-old who requires a lot of...
I need better mic technique from you, Jay. You're all over the mic.
I'm sorry. That's what compression is for. So
I got a little bit going here. I'm not pushing it hard.
Baby Margot is a very active 3-year-old, and I like to play with her. So we play a lot of games, and sometimes they wear this almost 70-year-old out. But,
Almost
like
70.
Bounce off the couch and throw yourself into Grandpa so you catch her, and then we'll do that 42 times. And then
You
bubbles.
do that. Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, and getting the big bubble wand and making the big bubbles and all of that stuff. And I found out that bubble stuff kind of burns your skin if you leave it on there. You get a lot on there. Yesterday, it dried it all out. Anyway.
It's just soap.
And I know. And I make it with dish soap. Dish soap, sugar, and water. And you don't have to buy the expensive stuff.
So you need the sugar because dish soap by itself won't make the big bubble.
Right.
That should be an announcer test. Dish soap, dish soap, dish soap, dish soap, dish soap. She sells dish soap by the.
She sells dish soap by the seashore. Yeah, it is kind of tough. That's a good one. The one that I always had problems with was any business that you had to do a commercial for that was located on 7th Street. 7th Street.
You did a Phil Roth.
Do all of these things to get your tongue in the right place. 7th Street.
Then you clean off the microphone.
And then Southern Illinois, for some reason. People have trouble down there saying Southern Illinois on the radio.
What do they say?
Get like Southern Illinois or Southern, I don't know. Southern Illinois isn't that hard. And then people who make W, they either say W, there's an L in there.
W.
W. And even like jocks in Chicago. I don't know if Lou Jack ever did it, but some of the WLS jocks were WLS. And then the other one is some people make it 4 syllables. W.
W.
And I'm like, if you're going to be a radio announcer, there's one on a radio station down around here that does that. W, it's like a 5-syllable letter. Enunciation's important, but
We now
you can go
pause while
overboard with it.
Jay refreshes himself. If
Yeah,
I were really a pro, I would have jumped right in and filled in the space because I can see that you were going to take a drink. But no, I just sat here and watched it go by.
So what I should do is on days that we do this is just drink green tea and not coffee, and then my voice would be a lot better. But I don't need my voice to be great all the time because I'm retired.
What is that?
We have an alert. The bat phone is ringing. Uh-oh.
Is it that kind of news?
Yes.
Or is it this kind of news?
At least 40 killed in an attack inside a concert hall near Moscow.
Whoa, that's news. That's not
Very
even
close to Moscow.
That's not even news for people who don't want to get the news. That's news people don't want to get.
No, that's bad news.
Which reminds me, I forgot to look at the headlines before we started the show. Because I thought maybe...
I monitor all sources.
Okay, so you're keeping us up to date. Because we're live.
We're live.
And people need to know what's going on because we're live.
Actually, our erstwhile... Oh, no, now I just turned off our... Now only one person's going to be watching. Well, our erstwhile producer...
This news theme is 20 minutes long.
Melissa sent me that, our erstwhile producer watching the news. She
Is she going to be our producer?
Things. Well, I asked her about it, and she goes, "Well, what do you want me to do?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, man.
Produce.
You were a really good
What does a producer do? They produce.
I said you could air check us and try to keep us on track. She snorted a little bit, laughed a little. And so...
as well she should.
She said, "You want me to get guests and stuff?" And
Well, that would be cool.
She was a big-time producer, man. She used to get guests like Robert Reich.
How many people are watching that show?
Go, "Melissa, this is Bob." And, there were thousands.
No, this show. She's trying to get a guest. Well, okay. Tell me about the show. Well, it's my husband and his brother, and they just ramble.
Say is, if they got you as a guest, they could attract more viewers and listeners. Oh, hold on. I got to take this.
Jay's phone is ringing, and now Jay's phone is ringing. Here's a phone call with Jay.
Hello?
Hello, this is Christy Clinic calling with a pre-recorded message. Please arrive 15 minutes prior to your scheduled time and bring your photo ID and insurance card to the upcoming appointment at Christy Clinic at
Christy Clinic.
Christy at the Fields. Tuesday, the 26th of March, 10 o'clock.
I love the way they do these.
Be prepared to pay any copay, co-insurance, or deductible, and any outstanding balance.
We are not going to pay for someone to do this live and to make a phone call to you. We have automated all of our announcements. Nothing can possibly go wrong.
Your appointment is Tuesday at 10 a.m.
It's the Your Name Here
Boy, this
show.
thing's going on longer than our podcast.
If you need to cancel or change this appointment, please call us between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m.
5.
Well, they're better than that these days.
173.
Right, well, I'm turning off the phone number so nobody calls.
Okay. Well, they can call. I don't, it's a public number. It's not mine.
Our patient web portal.
Oh, I'm done. Thank you for calling and reminding me. It's on my calendar, and it's in my Christie portal, and I know I have it, and I have to do blood work before it, and all of this stuff.
By the way, do you like our
and
bug?
I have to fast.
You like our bug in the corner?
I do like the bug.
Okay.
For those who don't know what a bug is, it's a little thing that says Jay Gary Live. So, yeah, that's it. You know what I like about local stations will have like the ABC bug down in the corner.
By the way, I've stopped looking at the chat. So, Dale, if you're...
They'll have the ABC logo down in the corner and something, and then they'll put up their own, and they won't turn the ABC one off, and it'll have like two going. Fighting bugs, battling bugs, the battle of the bugs, which leads me to believe nobody's actually watching.
I'm back to the only person watching now.
Well, that's you. Yep. Right? So my wife would produce this show with... Robert McChesney, John Nichols was on a lot.
Who are these people?
So these are people who are associated. I always called them the balance to the right ring talk shows. And people would say on our public radio station, why do you have these? Why don't you have the conservative viewpoint? And I go like, okay, let me explain it to you. You can get 500 hours of right-wing conservative talk a week on radio stations in our community, and you can get 1 hour of, well, I just called it the truth, but if you want to call it left-wing talk, go ahead and brand
Balanced media.
So you get 1
Accuracy.
hour in this one program versus however much, is being broadcast on the others. So, and I didn't pay any attention to it. And when we would do a pledge drive, a fundraiser on public radio, right? That 1 hour, well, we'd do 2 hours, and we'd get guests like Janine Garofalo and, people like that to call in. And so she was a major donor to our station for a while.
Why?
And
was she from that area? Did she have relatives?
No, I asked her if she would be when she was on the line getting ready to be on the air raising money for us and the cause and the show. And Melissa was the
Why
producer.
would she
and
even be
helped
doing that?
get all these because we asked her to.
Oh, so we should
asked
ask
her
people.
to, because she believed in what we were doing. And so anyway, we had that going for us, and we would raise in that 2 hour period, because we do like a little pledge drive marathon. We would raise 10% of the entire 7 or 8 day amount of money raised for the station. So,
Because you had a
in that 2
celebrity.
hours. Well, it wasn't just her. I mean, there were lots and who would come on. Bill Moyers would come on and raise money for us. And
Well, you know all
Amy
the big
Goodman.
NPR people. So, how many
So-
people watch that show? 50.
This one?
Our show. Yeah. 50, maybe 60 sometimes.
Yeah, but you know what? If you were on our show, we would have a lot more. We'd promote it.
That's the whole idea of getting people. You get somebody on, and then you want them to publicize their appearance.
Right.
So
Right.
it brings people in. But you know what I say about
Your appearance brings all the fans to the yard. That's right.
what I say about promoting this program is you're going to be judged. You're going to be judged by the people you tell to watch the show. They'll say,
Yes.
You wanted me to watch this? Why?
Yes. Well, we could, you know what? If we had a really good high-profile guest on, we could clean up our act. We could do it. We're pros. We're radio professionals. We would absolutely clean up our act, and we would do a very professional job of interviewing the person. And, yeah, there we go. So I think we would. I think
might.
we would absolutely do that. Because we're capable of it, but, we're just here trying to figure out what we're doing.
It might have to be a shot like this.
What?
Just you.
Oh,
Just you and not me. Oh, watch me magically appear here.
that's magic.
That's magic.
You're like Eugene the Jeep. You remember Eugene the Jeep?
Do not.
You had a deprived childhood.
Okay. We're going
Popeye
to the,
cartoons.
going to the Google.
Popeye cartoons.
Eugene.
The Jeep. Popeye cartoons.
Got a Wikipedia. Oh, okay. I
They
got
have a Wikipedia for Eugene the Jeep?
Yeah, they do.
Wow.
Not getting any sound.
Wow.
There we go. Back when they used to put all the credits at the beginning of things. So sooner or later, Jeep is Jeep. Huh? Should be pretty appropriate. We'll see here.
Brutus, Oliver's my oil.
I'm going to leave you with Uncle Popeye while I go shopping.
This is the kind of thing that will get you taken down in a heartbeat.
This is what we grew up on, this kind of stuff. And look at him. The guy smoking a pipe. Yeah, and
the kid's smoking the pipe now.
Sweepy's smoking the pipe now.
Yes, they could put this on the air today, no problem.
Yeah, right. They couldn't do that. Like,
That's my pipe, little fellow. I suck my
spinach down in there.
Where's the Jeep?
Well, you'll see the Jeep.
Well, I think we need to move on down because
Well, I know you.
he's babysitting like you're doing right now.
There's Eugene. There's the Jeep.
That's the Jeep. Okay. Okay. So that's
There. Now watch.
the Jeep could walk through walls.
And appear and disappear.
So it's a Jeep is a species of fictitious animal.
Yeah.
Popeye the Sailor lives in a boat.
Yeah, and it's a very
and he's
neglectful
not paying attention
babysitter.
yet because there's Sweepy crawling across a busy road through
But
traffic.
Eugene the Jeep can disappear and then appear wherever Sweepy is and grab him.
And is that going to happen?
Watch.
So you know this cartoon. You know this specific cartoon.
Information about Eugene. He knows everything.
He knows everything.
Oh.
And shakes his head.
You'd think he could talk if he was that clever.
Well, you would think so, but he doesn't. He's
He bows down to say yes and shakes his head to say no. Why doesn't he shake his head up and down to say yes?
I don't know. You know what? It's just what he is. And so,
okay, so now
he
Popeye is
sniffs
going to
out-
get hit by. When does
he sniffs out-
when is Popeye going to eat the spinach and get great? Popeye's clobbered by
when he
a car.
has to. When he has to. He'll do the spinach when it's utterly necessary. And so Eugene the Jeep sniffs out Sweepy like Wimpy sniffs out hamburgers.
So
Gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Okay, olive oil is back. Oh, there's Sweepy. Everything is good. Popeye
Everything's
is
hunky-dory. Here comes Popeye.
Imagine that Popeye leaving Sweepy alone.
imagine.
All of you back.
I can explain it all. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
Yeah, whatever.
I live in a garbage
anyway, there
can.
you go.
What's the rest of that song?
I eat all the worms and spit out the germs.
I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
Sailor Man.
Toot toot.
Amazing we remember that from our youth.
Yep, I'm tired of Popeye.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. But yeah, I watched a lot of those.
Okay.
Popeye. Do you know that
if that didn't get us taken down?
The creator of Popeye, and no, that was fair use because we're going to talk about this.
Well, like I say, they don't care about fair use until you argue it after the fact. But no, we're still on the air.
We're still on.
No one's watching, but we're still on the air.
Bots ain't working. Elsie Segar, who Segar, not Cigar, who created Popeye, was from Chester, Illinois, which is on the Mississippi River, just up from the Carbondale area, this and that. And they have a statue of right on the bridge that goes over to from Chester to St. Genevieve, Missouri. St. Genevieve, Missouri.
Can you imagine how
what street I
how
live on?
few people care about this? St. Genevieve Street?
Genevieve Court.
There you
St.
go.
Genevieve. And if you ever listen to Sun Volt,
So you're expecting the speech
tear-stained
compression.
eye.
You're expecting speech
St.
compression to
Genevieve, hold back the water. So Sun Volt, Jay Farrar was one part of Uncle Tupelo, and then the other part
no idea what
went
he's
off and
rambling
became
about
Wilco.
now. Oh, Wilco, I know.
Yeah, so
Ish.
So anyway, so Wilco and Sunvolt were all Uncle Tupelo before they went off and had their creative differences, went off in their, and my friend Jay Bennett, the late Jay Bennett, was part of Wilco, but he had his creative differences with Jeff Tweedy, and so that happened. Jay Bennett passed away.
Okay.
Subsequently, not because of, but subsequently.
I have no idea what he's been talking about for the past 5 minutes. No idea at all.
Giving you a little musical history, personally known and experienced.
You know all these people.
And Jay Farrar actually came into our radio studio for an interview, and Jay Bennett did too, but Jeff Tweedy wouldn't.
Because?
He was too cool.
And he was local in Champaign?
No, Wilco. We brought
So they would come to town.
Our radio station brought bands to town. That was part of our whole, what you call
Now you couldn't afford
vertical
to pay them,
integration.
so they were getting.
No, we paid them.
How did you
It was
afford
all-
that?
We made money. I mean, what do you mean? It's not out of my pocket. I got paid to be the vice president.
I thought you got
general
fired
manager of the
because they
station.
weren't making enough money.
They were making plenty of money, but the owner or the financial backer was a hedge fund guy and real estate developer, and he just saw dollar signs on a ledger sheet. So when he saw how much money he could get for selling it instead of running it, he sold it.
Oh,
He
okay.
made a lot of money.
So he got fired when the
Millions of
station got
dollars.
sold.
No, I got let go ahead of time when they were doing what they called right-sizing it for sale, and that's where they stripped
Okay, so it was
a lot of the cost out to
pre-sale stuff. Yeah.
bolster up the profit margin so they can sell it.
What did the station become once it was sold?
Well, it went through a series of things. It became a rock station called 93X.
But you were a rock station.
Well, we were an adult alternative rock station. If you want to compare us to something, it would be close to WXRT in Chicago.
Chicago's a fine rock station.
Yeah. And then...
playing off of WFMT, Chicago's a fine art station.
Yeah, there you go. And then the station became... When did it become after that? It was that for a while, and then it became... Oh, it became a hip-hop station with no dirty lyrics or lewd...
well, because they're FCC
whatever.
Licensed, so they got...
Well,
they make all those songs
on.
with the bad words just...
No, but this
cut
was
out.
supposed to be a family-friendly rap and hip-hop station. It was interesting. And so then after that, it became a simulcast talk station that lasted for a little while, local talk, and then it became ESPN. So,
And they're still
now
on
it's
the air
ESPN.
now, and you're back in
it's-
town.
It's the ESPN station.
Okay, so you're back in town. You don't listen to them, though.
Yeah, when I want to listen to sports, some sports stuff.
Spotlight.
They have
I don't have a
games.
sports theme. I need to get up a sports music theme. So you can tell us about the sports. You're a big Cubs fan, right?
Big Cubs fan. Although the White Sox, in sixth grade, I had a friend who I had a big crush on. I was in love with her as in the only way.
You
that
had so many
12-year-old
girlfriends
boy
when you were a
can.
kid. I was so afraid of girls.
We acknowledged each other. I wouldn't call ourselves boyfriend and girlfriend, although I don't know. I guess we liked each other. But anyway, her dad owned the White Sox. So
This is up in Winnetka where all the rich people are.
yeah, her dad was John Allen. She was Sharon Allen, and
Is that why we went to only White Sox games? We went to a few.
we went to Cubs games. Dad would get the office tickets, and they were behind the
I never went to
the
a Cubs
dugout.
game.
They were like about 4 rows behind the dugout. They were great seats.
Was this after I left home?
I don't know.
'Cause
Andy and
I never
we got
went
the
to a Cubs
tickets.
game. All the years I lived in Chicago, never went to a Cubs game.
Wow. Well, the White Sox, they had White Sox tickets too, and they were easier for him to get because nobody ever wanted them. But if I'd have played my cards right, in sixth grade, like I knew how to do that, and kept going because they actually became a really good team, and they made a run at the pennant back around then. I don't remember where it was, but I blew my chances. Like I had any to begin with, right? And we're talking about someone who probably doesn't even know who I am today, but the end came when I shot a rubber band at her in class to get her attention. Again, as an act of love that only a 12-year-old can commit, and it hit her in the eye, and she had to wear an eye patch for a while. That's the Cubs.
Holy cow.
Go, Cubs, go.
Baseball season's underway.
Okay, we got a commentary. Otherwise, we're going to get takedown.
okay.
Commentary.
Yeah, so
This isn't the song I was
the Cubs
expecting
aren't
to get.
gonna win today. Cubs go.
So on your
Did you
Facebook,
ever,
on your Facebook page, you put up a big W when the Cubs win, right?
Yeah,
That W.
there you go. Yeah.
For a long time,
W.
most people on your Facebook page had no idea what that meant.
Yeah, I know. My boss, his name is Kent, but he goes by W. Kent. I don't even know what the W stood for. I worked for him for 11 years, and I have no idea what the W was for. So we all called him Kent. I wonder what his first name really is. Huh. Anyway, the Cub fan thing goes way back to when we used to deliver newspapers. Next door neighbor, friend and I, You remember the Lotters. And so Bruce and I would we delivered newspapers. We had morning paper routes. And so we would deliver our papers all week, the Tribune and the Sun-Times. And then on Friday afternoon, you would go to the Winnetka News Agency, and the woman would hand you a crisp white envelope with a $5 bill in it. Yep. And so that $5 bill would get us, we would ride our bikes to 4th and Linden in Wilmette and take the elevated train, the subway, whatever you want to call it, downtown. We take it to Addison Street. We take it to Cubs Park, Wrigley Field. And we would go early because we would get in line for the bleacher seats. And you could take the train down and back, round trip. You could get a bleacher seat. You could have a couple of Henry's Hamburgers. Remember Henry's Hamburgers?
No.
It was a chain.
I'm sure I never did any of this stuff.
Not unlike McDonald's back in the day. And there was one right outside Wrigley Field, so we get a couple of Henry's Hamburgers, eat them while we were in line, and then you'd get let in for the bleacher seats, and you'd watch batting practice. And I caught a ball during batting practice once. Yep. And
by the way,
then you would get
a little bit of equal time here. I'm already playing.
I don't know. And you get a couple of hot dogs and a Frosty Malt and a Coke.
White Sox, go, go, White Sox. Let's go, go, go.
You know, the funny thing, too, is when I worked in Chicago, it was easy to get the White Sox tickets. You could never get the Cubs tickets, but in our office, you could get the White Sox tickets anytime you want. And I'd go, and there'd be a couple of hundred people there. And then they would shuffle everybody down to the box seats, the really good expensive box seats between third base around the plate and over to first base, so that the cameras wouldn't always be showing an empty ballpark. But then when a ball would get hit out, into the outfield or, into the seats, a home run or something, they'd show and they'd all be empty. So I used to like to go sit out, in right field and watch. So probably got on TV. It's the only one out there, but so we could go down and we could do all of that and then go back.
Sitting out there all by himself in the bleachers.
Yeah, maybe even have popcorn and go back and still have money left out of that $5. Now $5 won't even buy you a beer at the ballpark.
Nope.
And they used to sell cigars at the ballpark too. Now you can't smoke there. They've taken away all the good stuff. There's no like 50-cent beer. I don't even think they have old style beer there anymore in the ballpark.
This is why we can't have nice things.
We can't have nice things. The best hot dogs, though, at Wrigley Field, they had Oscar Mayer, and that's fine. But they had Lazar Red Hots at
I wish I were an Oscar Mayer
Ballpark
wiener.
Franks at
that is what I really want to be.
Comiskey Park.
Because if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener,
everyone would be in love with me.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I never want to be. Because if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, there would soon be nothing left of me. It's really hard to sing in sync on Zoom because of the delay. We did a good job.
That wasn't bad.
That's what we'll get taken down for.
We're going to get taken down for that. Maybe we'll get banned in Russia.
Yeah. Oh, so referring back to the beginning of the show, the banned in Russia thing.
Yeah,
I filed the dispute on that, and whoever it was that was claiming the copyright for it from our second show where we were banned in Russia, they have 30 days to respond. If they don't respond in 30 days, then their claim is dropped. They never responded. Never responded. Their claim was dropped. What was it we played? It was some country Americana song or something.
I don't know.
Woody something. I don't remember.
Did we play a Woody Guthrie song?
No, it wasn't anybody I recognized. It was something that just happened.
A Woody Harrelson song?
It was something that just happened to be playing on your Whiz radio station, WHTZ WIZW. What was it? That radio station you love listening to out?
The Whip.
The Whip.
I worked there.
Yeah.
I was the chief ranch hand of the Sunrise Ranch.
Yeah. So I was trying to get them to they're on their live on air thing to play.
WWHP.
Yeah, and it wouldn't play, and it finally started to play, and that was the song that was being played, and that was who. What are you doing?
Mustache. Doesn't that make me look distinguished?
You know what I'm surprised is you haven't started using the Zoom things. You can.
Oops, sorry.
You can give yourself eyebrows and lips and things.
Oh, I can do that on Zoom?
You've never done this on Zoom?
We were given Margot sunglasses today. On something like, no, where do you do that? I'm going to do it. I'm all over this, man.
It's down by the camera icon. Push the little up arrow on the camera icon.
Video settings, choose avatar, virtual background.
Yeah, try choosing an avatar.
I got to sign in.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, they want to know who you are to be able to do that stuff. Do you have a Zoom account?
I don't you probably.
Probably, maybe.
Enter your email.
Yeah. So while you do that, if you recall on our previous show, back when Jay was having audio problems, when I was giving Jay audio problems, you referred to a North Carolina politician that I was not familiar with.
Oh, yeah, that
named
Morrow?
Michelle Morrow.
Yeah.
Running for
Education Secretary.
Yeah, Secretary of Education.
The head of the Department of Education.
Yeah, for North Carolina. She is the woman who won the Republican primary.
Yeah.
For that. And I'm going, I never heard of anybody like that. I don't know who you're talking about. Clearly, Anderson Cooper was watching our show and listening.
That's right.
Listening to you talk about that.
Google Notes. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Anderson Cooper had had one of their reporters. This is actually from WRAL, but it's the CNN report that they ran on the Anderson Cooper show last night or the night before, where they talked to this whacked out politician lady. So this will get us taken down for sure.
How are you? All right. How did it go in there?
Hey, it went great.
Yeah?
It went great.
You feeling good?
Who are you guys?
Yeah,
I'm Shimon Prokopov.
That's Michelle Morrow.
Oh,
Yeah, this
have
is
you
good.
Been,
CNN reporter.
by any chance?
We've been trying to talk to you, yes.
I saw this.
Well, you can go through my
I understand, but I have you now, so why don't we talk now?
I don't want to talk
Why
now.
not? Well, I want to ask you, do you still stand? I'm not talking to you, ma'am. Do you still stand by?
I'm not talking to you, ma'am.
That was great.
Former President Barack Obama and that he should be executed, calling for the death of other presidents. Do you stand by that?
Stand by your statements.
Have a good night.
Do you stand by what you've said about the public education system and that it needs to be destroyed?
Okay, she's going to start to pivot now.
Do you understand the concern that people have?
We're in the no comment, but we're about to go to the
nomination that
pivot.
you now have?
Question, do you vote in North Carolina?
There's the pivot.
Then keep your eyes on your own paper.
Well, let me
Paper.
ask you. I've
On your own
I've
paper.
read,
Yeah,
I've read
paper.
papers here
It's a
too.
TV station.
And the
Eyes on your
concerns
own
that
And she's going to be
people
head
have
of
with your
education.
nomination.
Yeah.
And the things
She
that you have
smiles at
said.
the camera. Hi.
People all across the country.
Really?
Yes.
Why are they concerned about North Carolina? Do you know that education is a problem in this
We're
entire
concerned because you
So
are
maybe
a
they need to
Republican
focus on what's
whack
going on
job.
in your state of New York, which, by the way, is where
There
I
you
grew
go.
up. Maybe they need to focus on what's going on in California, where children are not getting the education that they need. Maybe they need to focus on what they're doing in Michigan. Because right now in North Carolina, I'm focused on helping the families of North Carolina for their
Maybe you
children
need to go
get
back to
quality
New York.
education, for them to be safe,
Maybe you need
and for
to-
us to be sure that our money is going into
Yeah, this is
classrooms
political blah
rather
blah
than
blah.
bureaucracies.
This is, you
That's
just
what I've been focusing on. That's what I've been fighting for the last 5 years, going to the General Assembly and dealing with those issues.
Right, but-
So that is why I am running.
I understand,
Yeah, but-
but
yeah,
you
but-
have said such hurtful things.
Yeah, but,
too,
yeah, but, yeah,
in
but.
terms of the
Yeah, but
education
I have to
Costello.
tell you,
about transgender
everyone
students.
is so done with the gotcha moment.
This is not a gotcha.
It
These are your
is.
own
This is-
words, ma'am.
this is-
These are your own
this
words.
has
It's
nothing
exactly
to
what
do
you
with
said.
That
education.
the
How
former
do you know
president,
those are my words?
because you tweeted. Are those
don't
not your
have-
tweets? Do you deny saying that? You have an opportunity now.
I am
Do you
telling
deny
you.
saying that?
I am
Are
telling
you
you.
denying that you said that in those
This is so
tweets?
much fun.
telling you.
Have
I
you-
know it
But I'm
is.
going to
And,
Have you
you know,
talked about
Education.
the indoctrination of children by teachers?
I am telling you.
Have you talked about that? Have you said that about students?
Have you seen any of me going to the school board for the last 5 years? Because you will have my answer.
Yeah, you know what? And so.
Oh, by the way, we are now in some tropical paradise, courtesy of Jay and Zoom.
So I'm trying to find so I signed in, right? And then the emoji thing or the avatar thing disappeared. So now I only get choose virtual background and blur my background.
Yeah, some people don't get to do an avatar until it analyzes your computer a little bit. But this is much nicer than your drab old attic.
Oh, my attic's awesome, man. Okay, advanced. Let's see what we can do here. I don't know. Anyway, so virtual background is on, and I got this, and so okay. So anyway, that's what I got. You want me to leave that on?
Yeah. Yep, that looks cool. One of my monitors has a little KTER. Oh, that's what.
Yeah, I saw that.
Why is it doing that?
I don't know, but I seem to be frozen now in time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, this is good. Compelling.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, your audio's there. I think you turned off your camera. I think that's what happened.
What?
Go look at your camera icon. Yeah.
Back. Okay. So what was the? Wow, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I think you just turned off your camera.
I did build a radio station though. So.
Oop, now we're in outer space.
Where's Shatner?
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll just do. Oh, it wants me to upgrade.
Ooh. Yeah, don't upgrade while we're doing the show.
Okay.
It probably wouldn't work very well. So let's see. Is there anything else I've got? Well, we've got 3 minutes left until the 2 hour point. We did not discuss daylight savings time last time. Yeah. You know, normally around daylight savings time change, you see a bunch of stories on the news. You see a bunch of stories. Hang on. You see a bunch of stories on the news about Congress is going to get rid of daylight savings time.
Yeah.
And then they don't. And then we're stymied because half the people, everybody wants to get rid of it. Everybody wants to get rid of the time change. Half the people want to keep daylight savings year round, and half the people want to go to standard time year round. And the medical profession tells us
the medical profession
tells us that we are physically better off on standard time.
Really?
I don't know why. And that's not the whack job medical profession. That's the real medical profession. I could dial up a story like that. Now I have unleashed a monster. For those of you in the audio audience, Jay is now playing with Zoom backgrounds, and we have a giant Jay face wearing a Saluki, which is the Southern Illinois team
fool. That's the
T-shirt, sweatshirt.
So that's the Bob Odenkirk, went to SIU. So Bob Odenkirk went to SIU after I was graduated and before I came back to work professionally there.
Bob Odenkirk is the Better Call Saul guy.
Yeah, so there was about
from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul
year window. So
it was how long?
There was about a 4 or 5 year window.
When you weren't there and he was.
And he was.
Yeah, but you knew plenty of other celebrities, so it's no big deal.
Yeah. So anyway, the shirt is so he got I'm looking.
You're distracting yourself.
I know. So I'm trying to figure out when this came out. So anyway, he came back to SIU to be, was he this, I was trying to look at it and I can't remember. Was he the speaker at the graduation? I can't remember.
Don't ask me. I have no idea.
Yeah, so I can't remember what the deal was.
Why are we even trying to remember this? What's the significance?
Oh, anyway, so the shirt, because he came back and one of his things was, and they put the T-shirt because one of his lines was, "I'm a Saluki, you fools. I'm a Saluki, and I will destroy you." And that was his big thing.
Does your team ever do anything? Do they win anything? Championships?
Salukis, yeah, they sometimes they were good, sometimes not. And, I was, what we used to do is go to the games on Saturday, the football games, and we would take, a 2-liter Pepsi bottle, and we'd
fill it with.
Well, yeah, we'd pour about half of the Pepsi out, and we'd fill the rest with
vodka.
Oh, what was that stuff? No, it was
Everclear.
No, that was for the punch, the trash can punch, garbage can punch, where you would put a whole bunch of Everclear in a garbage can, and like a 30-gallon garbage can, and everybody would bring something like frozen lemonade, frozen orange juice, and stuff, and throw it all in there and stir it all up. What was the and then somebody would get really drunk on that and do a keg stand and lose their balance and break a tooth. So what was? Sometimes we actually studied. What was the? What would we put? Southern Comfort. Southern Comfort. Yeah, we take that into the.
That stuff's not cheap.
Doing that stuff. No, well, we weren't broke. Just because you're a student doesn't mean you're broke.
Because you got all that student debt money.
No, I never took out a student loan. My college was all paid for before I went.
Because of your slavish devotion to working minimum wage jobs.
I went down to college with $5,000. I took $5,000 out of my bank account. I would have taken more, but Mom had cleaned most of it out.
Really?
I had a lot of money. I had a lot of money. I had two bank accounts.
Mom had access to it because your parent.
Well,
they have to co-sign it.
So I had two bank accounts. I got the second one when I turned 18, and that's where the money from the gas station and other stuff was going. The other account was at Winnetka Savings and Loan, remember, back next to the shoe store, and that's where she had co-signed it, because when I had the paper out and I was mowing lawns and selling flowers at intersections for holidays and crap like that. And so that money was going in there. Remember when you had the passbook and it was all handwritten? There was no computer stuff. They would I
do remember that.
Deposit down, and then they would add it right there. And so she cleaned that one out. And that was probably a couple $1,000s. And then
must have been because Dad had cut her off from.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And so she had to get her vodka.
Do we have to have this picture behind us? It's creepy. When people think that having you and me in the frame like this is creepy, no, that's creepy. That is creepy.
All right. Well,
anything else?
Okay. Just calm down.
However, so that's going to be our YouTube poster.
I have no idea why that one showed up. I'll find something else.
We need to finish pretty soon for several reasons. One, so I'm getting on an airplane tomorrow morning.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, we're looking at the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights.
So you're going on an airplane to fly somewhere?
Yeah, flying to Salt Lake City and then going up to the mountains to go skiing
Yeah,
tomorrow morning, and I've got to pack.
Oh, okay.
That's reason number one.
And you also
that's reason number one. Reason number two is I got to pee.
Old man bladder.
It's been 2 hours.
And I have to go too, because I'm hungry. Again, I didn't eat much lunch because we were going to do this. I want my stomach to rumble. But I had made tilapia So I ate a little tilapia, but I have salmon too. I made some really nice wild caught salmon that's waiting. So real fish, not the tilapia, whatever that is. So.
And not Illinois River carp.
Kopi. I wish I could remember what orange roughy. It's like there's a real name for orange roughy, and they called it orange roughy because nobody would eat it if you called it its real name. I'll look at that while you say goodbye, and I hope you have an awesome time.
Just sliding off camera, blowing my nose.
Is your wife going skiing with you?
Yes. And so that also means that we will not be doing a show next week.
Oh, no show.
No show next week. And then we are heading into serious vacation season. The week after that, going to Dallas to witness the eclipse. Now, back in 2017, there was an eclipse, and it crossed not too far from where you live. Did you go into the zone of totality and try to see it?
So I was living in the Quad Cities then. So no, I did not. I could have gone. I mean, my son lives down there, your nephew, and I'll be down there tomorrow, by the way, helping him finish out the bathroom. But no, I did not. But we are here in Champaign. I was thinking about going down to his house for it, but then I looked, and we're in the 98% zone here.
Have you ever seen a total eclipse?
Did we ever see one when I was a kid? Yeah, I seem to remember.
I don't remember one.
Well, there were eclipses, and we made little cardboard pinholes, and you would see
but you see the half moon thing in that during a partial eclipse. Lots of partial eclipses, but the total eclipse, I think I've only seen the one in 2017. Here's what we say about that to the folks who say, well, we've seen a partial eclipse. We've seen like 98%. The difference between 99% and 100% is greater than the difference between 0 and 99% by far.
Oh.
When it goes total, you can take off your glasses, stare at the sun being blotted out by the moon with just your naked eyeballs. It is a spiritual experience. You should go.
When is it?
April 8th, I think, something like that.
Oh, I can't. I'm busy.
Let me dig up my calendar here.
Total eclipse of the heart.
Yeah, it's Monday, April 8th is the total eclipse.
Monday, April 8th.
So I will be Cindy's going to fly to Dallas. I'll be driving.
You're going to Dallas to see an eclipse?
Yeah, that's not very far away. Last time I went to Wyoming.
What? I don't know. No, I don't think I can do that. But I will. Look at the 98% because that's even pretty good because I'm an 80%er, right? I live life and 80%. So think about it, and I'll leave you with this thought, right? And then we'll say goodbye.
Okay, and I'm not going to be gone as much as I thought. I'll be gone for that. I'll be gone for the ski trip. Gone for that, and then we're back. I'll be back somewhere around the 10th or so. So that week we'll be able to do a show.
All right, so folks, we're gonna take a
little hiatus.
Like, oh no,
just got
We're
started.
gonna go into withdrawal.
By the way, this is episode 7. This episode 7.
I was falling in love, and now I'm only falling apart. There's nothing I can do. Total eclipse of the heart. Who sang that?
Adele.
No. Well, I don't know. Adele may have covered it, but it was Bonnie Tyler.
Hey, okay, yeah.
So I was going to leave you with being an 80%er. Here's why that's good. Could you imagine if you were a baseball player and your batting average was 800? So that's why I figure I'm way ahead of the game just being an 80%er in life. Getting it right 80% of the time. Baseball players get paid millions of dollars to get it right a third of the time.
Okay. Weather forecasters get it right about 45% of the time.
And they get paid a lot of money too.
Yep.
I always thought the best job in the world would be to be a TV weather person in San Diego. It's going to be sunny and 76.
Always sunny in San Diego.
Sunny and 76.
You could have been Ron Burgundy. Stay classy, San Diego.
A friend of mine was a weather person in San Diego, Greg Todd. So,
all right. So, I forgot. I have. Let's see. Can I do this and do the bug? I think.
Hey, you got a little Vic Tayback thing going.
A little what?
Vic Tayback. Your hair on the side. It's kind of going forward. It's got a little Caesar look to it.
Oh yeah, that happened after my hair grew back. After it all fell out when I had the cancer.
After the chemo.
Yeah, after the chemo and it all fell out. Then. Wow. Then it.
That's a little Vic Tayback thing. You remember Vic Tayback?
I forgot we could put our names here on the screen.
Oh, I'm Jay.
And I am Gary. And this has been, wait a minute. Got all the buttons.
Where's your button box?
Got all the buttons in the right place.
Nice.
Bye, Jay.
Over and out.
Over and out.